Hey Sagittarius. Sagittarius. It's a reading for Sagittarius. Sagittarius Sun, or Moon, or Rising, or Venus. If you've got a lot of Sagittarius placements in your chart, or Sagittarius North Node. This could be for you. If you stumbled across this, there could be some messages for you in this particular reading. I hope you're doing well, and we'll see what messages come through for you today on the 30th of July. First card out, Death. Scorpio energy. So you could be going through a rebirth. This is all about transformation, death, rebirth, having either gone through a transformation, going through a transformation, starting a new cycle, birthing the new. Three of Pentacles. Community. Collaboration. Sagittarius, it could be that you're starting something new and you're going to be collaborating with new people. Maybe you're finding, you know, you kind of put an end to possibly the old, starting a whole new cycle, collaborating with new people. King of Cups. This could be your energy. It could be that you are going to be receiving assistance here as well. There could be somebody significant in this kind of energy. This is Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Someone who has possibly the qualities of a, you know, of somebody who's, you know, on your side, giving you a support, giving you assistance, understanding possibly your emotional needs. Or it could be your energy. You might have a lot of water placements in your chart, and you're coming from a space of your heart space, connecting with people who understand what it is, perhaps people in your community, people around you who want to assist you in some way. Could be somebody significant, Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer, who might be you know, a significant, let's say, a cheerleader in your environment. With the Knight of Cups also, whatever's coming in for you, well, slow and steady, somebody is coming in, perhaps offering you the support you need, offering you love, offering you assistance, with even a degree of caution, perhaps even a degree of caution. Somebody, you could be reconnecting with somebody. Cups energy, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. It could be your energy that you're slowly but surely bringing your doing things from, you know, a space of love, a space of compassion, having more compassion towards other people. Yeah, because I feel as if you've gone through your fair share, Sagittarius, of, you know, betrayal, heartbreak even, feeling let down. You know, it could be, a few has had this, I believe, recently. You know, your heart hurts a bit, but that has not stopped you being able to heal this, being able to still operate from a space of love. Yeah, five swords. This is the card, you know, you might have lost the battle, but you won the war. And that's what's important. Because you have, with this, you have plenty of knowledge, plenty of understanding about who you are, what you bring to the table. How you can inspire other people because of betrayal, because of the things you've been through, which has expanded your vision and your understanding, and possibly that you'll be able to assist and help other people through things like this. Because you've been through this, you have, you know, Sagittarius, you're the wounded warrior, and you come out of anything you come out of maybe a bit bruised, a bit battered, a bit, you know, war weary, but you come out alive, and you come out always taking with you everything that you've learned, so that you can transmute that into knowledge and into wisdom and into being able to help others through your experience, through your know-how, through what you've learned, and how you can then share that with other people, help them. I feel as if, Sagittarius, you have a mission to take what it is that you have been through, what you have learned, especially if it's about betrayal, especially if it's about a heartbreak, especially if this is connected, you know, to your very personal story, that you are never afraid to share, and you're never afraid to acknowledge and use as another string to your bow, to be able to guide and help and assist other people. And you also have the Ace of Cups. So your story, your experiences coming from your heart space you have an uncanny ability to be able to inspire other people through the things you've learned. Now, however you do this, whether it's through something creative, whether it's, let's see, it could be through communication. Tower. I feel as if whatever's knocked you for 6, you're looking at how you can take, retrospectively you can see how things might have fallen apart in your life, but not fallen apart, just things that needed to come down, things that needed to possibly end, because your reading started with the Death card, and how you can take what you need with the 5 of Swords, recognise the damage, collateral damage, and experience things differently because you've had to rebuild. And for some of you, not all of you, but for some of you, you might be in a place where you've had to rebuild from scratch, and this is a process, and you understand the process. You understand that as a Sagittarius, you get knocked down 9 times, but you always get up 10. You always get up again. You'll always get up, because for a start, you're not prepared to stay in that place. You know, no matter how you come out of it, you're just never prepared to stay in that place, because you know you've got so much more living to do, and you know that nothing's going to keep you down for very long. Partly because you'd be bored if you allowed that to happen. You can't wallow in, for a start, self-pity. You certainly can't wallow in, stay in, you know, a place of the wounded warrior for very long. You lick your wounds, you get up and you go. You're like a war horse. That's what you do. And you've been so diligent. You've worked so hard. I feel you've worked so hard on yourself, you know, on your healing. 8 of Pentacles. And it's all going to pay off, because you don't, as a Sagittarius, you don't sweep stuff under the carpet. You face your demons. You look them in the face. You might go quiet. You might, you know, disappear off the radar for a bit. You know, go off radar for a bit. You might find, but what you do when you do that, you're facing these demons and battles and accepting where you are. You're doing it on your own. You're brave enough, let's say, to sit with yourself and ask yourself the difficult questions and process why this happened and how this happened, and why you're in the place you're at, and how also you're going to, because you have this ability to problem solve, so how you're going to get from A, you know, to B to C. And not many people understand that about you, because it's often a very private thing that you're doing alone, independently, not showing people, you know, look at my scars, look where I've been, look what's happened to me. That's not what you do. You always come back kind of fresher, maybe wiser, maybe stronger, always on to the next, let's say, challenge, because you're not afraid of challenges. In fact, Sagittarius, many of you enjoy the challenge, because each time you're challenged, each time you're knocked down, you know you can transmute that, you can use that, you can make that into something productive. And you know, that's, they say Sagittarius, you know, comes from the school of hard knocks. And the hard knocks aren't there to destroy you. The hard knocks are there to make you grow, to make you understand yourself and other people too. Enable you to, because you're also the sign of the teacher. And when you learn and you really understand the things you've learned, you're then in a position to be able to teach. You're then in a position to be able to assist. You're then in a position to be able to help other people, or show other people, or shine the light on things that other people might be struggling with. But you have to be careful as well, that you don't burn out. And this is one of the, you know, problems, if you like, issues that a Sagittarius might face, is that you can burn out, and you can feel exhausted, and you can, but you don't necessarily let that show to the world outside. Now, there is no point with the Four of Cups dwelling too long, you know, on the things of yesterday. enough time to be able to make sense of it, enough time to be able to process it, enough time to be able to then take it, utilize it, but not live there. Because this also suggesting that something's good is coming in for you, and you need to be receptive to it. If you feel you've been having to spend some time to sort of reboot, recharge, stabilize yourself, I feel as if that period of time is coming to an end, and you're kind of ready to kind of get back out there, be positive, be aware, listen to your intuition, listen to spirit and your guidance, and understand where it is you need to be. What do you need to do singularly for yourself, in maybe in solitude, in your own time and space, and also how to integrate your knowledge and learning, and be around other people, so that other people are also going to be benefiting from what you know and what you've learned. And there's a fine balance, so be careful about the balance, because you do need time for you. You do need to also, if you're working on any creative projects, you're going to have to be quite strict with yourself, in terms of having to, I wouldn't say be selfish with your time, but you're certainly going to have to understand that the things that you need to do for you are equally important as the things that you want to do in collaboration, helping other people, maybe in your community, relating to work, relating to, if you're creative, building your your profile, creating more abundance for yourself, and don't fritter your energy, is what I'm hearing. Don't fritter your energy. Don't give away too much of you, so that you haven't got any resources left for yourself. Because what you're doing in your own private space and time is probably going to require a lot of discipline and a lot of focus, and you'll need that space and time and headspace to focus on the things you want to do. Now, I feel as if you've had a little bit of time out, a bit of break, so you kind of had a reboot, you've managed to reassemble, if you like, and you're on the verge of making these important decisions with so much more discernment than you had before. It's like you've become way more discerning. You're not giving your energy away freely. You're not allowing, let's say, people come into your life and take advantage of you. Perhaps you used to do that, because you understand that your time is on earth, your time is precious. Like, your time is expensive. And perhaps you come to the realization that because of that, you're going to have to be very discerning about your expenditure of energy. Now, I feel as if for some of you, you felt a bit shut out when you were going through difficulties. The tower, for example, when you feel as if you don't know which direction you're going in, things seem to be falling apart around you. You're in a state of maybe confusion, disorientation, that perhaps you felt a bit left out. And that isn't necessarily so. I get a feeling that some people who know you well enough have understood that you have needed time and space, and it's not that anyone's left you out, it's that people who are close to you, understand you, have allowed you that time and space and kept maybe a little bit distance from you, or that you have created distance, or been in a place where you started to, you know, push people away because you're kind of, listen, I'm healing, I'm dealing with me, I can't be dealing with you while I'm dealing with this. You know, when I'm going through a transformation, when I've had to reassess, you know, I've been through the tower, I'm picking up the pieces, I've, you know, I might have lost a battle, but, you know, a kind of, you know, I've managed somehow to pull through. So if you feel that you might have been kept at arm's length, that would be the universe telling you that you've needed that because you needed the time and space. And nobody's pushing you away, nobody's ignoring you. You might sometimes feel as if, you know, where is everybody? And everybody's still there. And it's, you are dictating your next moves. You're deciding your next moves. You're deciding when you want to perhaps interact with a certain person or certain people. You're being, as I said, discerning again. You're being discerning about where you put your energy, who you want to connect with, who you don't want to connect with, who is, you know, good for you, who isn't, who brings positivity into your life, who doesn't. And it's all about your discernment. Now, what else do you need to know, Sag? Chrysocolla. There's a beautiful stone, crystal stone, semi-precious stone called chrysocolla. I'm wearing it actually, called chrysocolla. It's a complicated spelling. C-H-R-Y-S-O. I might have to look this up. C-O-L-L-A. It's relatively widely available. I wouldn't say widely available. It's spelled C-H-R-Y-S-O-C-O-L-L-A, and it's a copper silicate. Now, it helps with stress and mood swings. It helps you keep your cool. So if you found yourself kicking off or firing, or, you know, feeling like, oh, your fuse is short recently, this will help. It also strengthens the liver and relaxes you, helps with any infections, if you sore throats, you know, you boost your immune system, you know, anything, cramps you might have, and also is really incredibly helpful for keeping balance and equilibrium. Now, you know, there is a myth about the Sagittarius personality, that you can be or perceived as being a bit bipolar. You know, you're a dual sign and your moods can be up and then can be down, and it's important for you to find some kind of balance. But this is really good for that. You know, mood swings, you know, this is how you can often confuse people, because you can be incredibly positive, incredibly outgoing, incredibly, you know, good to be around, and then you often need just to pull back, recharge, disappear off the scene. That's a very Sagittarian you know, characteristic. And, you know, then if you're dealing with stress, Sagittarius hates stress. You know, stress is not our best friend. So, you know, all this can help you enormously with any stressful situations, which often bring on a mood swing, you know. And you may have learned that when you get stressed, or when you feel stressed, your default might be just to vanish or disappear, which isn't, you know, you're not bouncing off the walls, being positive, friendly, open, you know, happy, encouraging, positive. the way that, you know, when you're in a good place, you know, that these are, you know, characteristics of your personality. So this is a stone I recommend. And turquoise, of course. Turquoise is another stone that helps Sagittarius. It is the stone of travel, and you are the traveller. By nature. Or tourmaline, that could be a good one too. There's black tourmaline, there's tourmaline quartz, there's yellow, green tourmaline, red tourmaline, and that's also helpful for blocked emotions or grief, dissipating grief. Makes you much more open and tolerant, enhances your love for the truth, for example, and also your sense of responsibility. So tourmaline is coming to mind, as well as turquoise, which is another copper-based stone, and it harmonises, it cheers and protects from external influences if you feel overloaded sometimes with, you know, picking up other people's energy. You know, it won't allow you either to, it helps you recognise the causes of happiness and unhappiness, and master, you know, these emotions, and also exhaustion, or if you've been overactive, it helps with hyperactivity, because you're prone to often being overactive. And then you have to, you know, withdraw and recharge, and, you know, what's the word? Have enough R&R when you feel exhausted. So turquoise too, I would highly recommend, as well as chrysocolla and tourmaline, which doesn't have to be black. What else have we got for you, Sag? Yeah, be careful with your energies, because even though you've been through some things, you know, your enthusiasm come back, but be careful not to burn out, you know, from over enthusiasm or over activity. I feel as if you're also about to embark on a new project, or pick up something that you have left on the back burner for a while. You know, you need to get your creative juices flowing, and you need to have the confidence to be able to understand that whatever you do, whatever next move you make, is going to be more successful than you had possibly expected it to be. As long as you're diligent, as long as you apply yourself, as long as you don't get distracted, which again, you know, Sagittarius, we know how easily distracted you can get. You may need a mentor, you may need somebody who has already possibly in the same fit, you may need somebody who's working in a similar field to you, who's already had more experience, maybe somebody who can act as a mentor for you and help guide you through this. Vulnerability, you know, sharing your story, sharing your gifts, sharing your whatever it is you want to put out there does require a level of vulnerability, so don't be afraid. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Remember, it doesn't matter what people think. People are going to judge you anyway, no matter what you do. No matter what you do. So don't be afraid of what people will say, what people will think, because that's utterly pointless. So, you know, in whichever case, whatever you do, people talk, people will judge you. Divine intervention. And you've got to believe in that, because there's good things coming your way, because you've been diligent, because you've, you know, listened to your intuition, because you've listened to spirit. There are things that you, I feel, didn't necessarily have a great deal of control over. It's as if divine intervention came in and made decisions for you through trusting your intuition. Because I feel you got to a point where you were just, I can't logically fathom this. Take that how it resonates. Something that caused the tower, or something that caused this rebirth, this death and rebirth, this whole transformation that you could still be going through, but kind of on the tail end of it. You know, you couldn't make certain decisions, I feel, for yourself, so you were just allowed, you just thought, well, okay, I'm just going to go with, you know, it could be that spirit came in and made decisions for you, because you weren't feeling, maybe there was a lot going on, there was possibly a lot of confusion also happening, you know, there has been betrayal, and you had got to a point where you threw your hands up in the air and said, well, I just, you know, I don't know now, what, you know, what next, what now, what's this? So you allowed, if you like, your intuition to guide you. And I feel like, you know, the universe has been having your back now, you know, for some weeks, some months. The universe has kind of stepped in and gone, well, we'll deal with it for you. You know, you're tired, you're sort of work weary, you know, you're battle weary, we're going to deal with this for you. And your inner child, I feel as if for some of you, you have some inner child wounds that you need to be looking at and you possibly need to heal. You might be having mood swings where 1 minute, you know, you're feeling great about everything seems to be going well, and then you're finding yourself in a position when you just feel sad, or, you know, you might find yourself becoming incredibly emotional and out of the blue, you know. So also it could be a nudge to say, connect with your inner child again. Because for many of you, you had so much on your plate, a lot of responsibility, and you've had to adult a lot. And we all know adulting is pretty shitty. And we don't enjoy adulting, especially not Sagittarius, because you're naturally playful, you're naturally childlike, not childish, childlike. And when you have too much responsibility and too much stress, it kills your spirit, it kills your fire. And you need to connect with your inner child again. Do something playful, maybe do something like a sport, something fun. Thinking something like table tennis, or something that is not too arduous, because you don't need that right now, but something that's a little bit of fun, that can kind of keep you on your toes, keep you like kind of, or go and do something like beach volleyball or something that, you know, or go back to something you did as a child that made you feel happy. You know, if you're creative, connect with that inner child and bring that inner child out without censorship, without asking yourself, why am I doing this? What is this? Is it good enough? I don't know. What people are going to think of it. Don't think like that. Think, right, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be playful about it. I'm not going to be kind of up in my head about, you know, other people, what they're going to think, because that doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you want to, you know, spend a day, you know, playing, you know, just enjoying the playfulness of just being, and maybe connect with children, you know, just, or people younger than you even, you know, people who are younger, young in spirit, connect with that inner child, because you have grown so much in, I would say, relatively short period of time. I mean, Sagittarius, you're known for your ability to grow through things, especially through trauma, especially through difficult situations, and your rate of growth can sometimes actually shock people, because they wonder how you can do that so readily, and so looking as if it's easy. It's never, it's not, because it's not easy, but you make it often look so effortless, and that's because you do sit with yourself. That's because you process everything, you understand everything. You know, many Sagittarians, they're night owls, and often larks as well. But you know, you don't waste time sleeping. You don't waste time. I heard somebody once say Sagittarians only sleep when they die, because you don't want to waste life. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to be held back, held up. You naturally can be quite impatient, because you know life is short. So your boundaries, you see, you've been working on your boundaries, and that's been very important for you, because I feel as if you didn't really have strong boundaries before, and so now you're protecting your peace like the fuck up. You're protecting your peace like it's the most important thing right now. You know, it's tantamount to what you're going to do next. You know, protecting your peace at all costs. And some people might not like that. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about other people, what they think, what they like, what it is. But you need to be speaking your truth, and you need to speak your truth freely and with ease. And this is the thing that's going to move you into places and spaces and situations that you maybe would never have expected to go to. Make sure you stay in the present. Meditation is going to be good for you too. Make sure that you spend plenty of your time when you're, especially your, well, all, you know, especially your alone time, grounding yourself, practicing being in the present, in the now, because the now is all we've got. Make yourself switch that overactive mind, bring it down a notch or two, be in the present. Sometimes you need to pull it right back to you. You're very curious by nature, and your curiosity can sometimes take you out of the now. You know, you're trying to unwind, you're finding your mind is racing into this, what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to do next week. You've had a new idea, you've had a new plan, you've got to implicate, you know, and I know how that goes, so it becomes overwhelming. And so meditation, forms of, perhaps you could go to, say, find your local Buddhist centre, something like that, and really understand how meditation works. It's difficult to do. Often it can be difficult to do if you're doing it in a solitary, and other people who practice meditation, it might be an idea to get into a group meditation or like a yoga or something where you can practice the now. And the easier, the more you regularly practice this art, the easier it then becomes. You know, as Sagittarius, you love nature, you love being in nature, you love to be outside, so do this too. This is where you can exist in the now without feeling boxed in. Make that a priority, you know, a part of your daily, day-to-day life. I'm sounding bossy. And I'm sexual. Now, Fuca's had this. This is something you possibly need to also get back in touch with your inner child and your sexuality. If you've been through the ringer, many of us have, Sagittarius, you know, it's our time, and many of us have been through the ringer for our highest good. It hasn't felt like that, but it really is for our highest good. You know, we are protected, we know we have the divine is on our side, and you may not have been feeling anything like this, you know, bogged down with responsibilities, not being in touch with your inner child, not being playful. Remember that you are also a sexual being, and it would be good for you to get back in touch with that. You know, do some nice things for yourself, remind yourself that regardless of being a bit sort of work weary, a bit tired, a bit worn, it doesn't stop you being, you know, sexual, attractive. Maybe you don't think you're feeling invisible, and you're not invisible at all. In fact, you're very visible, and you can trick yourself into believing sometimes that you're not particularly important, that you're not particularly visible. And in light of the things that have happened to you, perhaps people that haven't been very kind to you, have knocked you down, have tried to run you over literally, not literally, but have tried to do things or take a shot at you. Remember that you know, that's only projection of them onto you. That isn't you. That isn't to do with you deserving any of that. But it has helped you grow, and you're not at all invisible. So it could be that you have started to feel invisible because other people maybe have made you feel that way, and you're not. And and also Sagittarius, many of you don't enjoy being particularly visible. Many of you, especially if you have a lot of water placements, you don't strive to be visible. You just are. You're not a show off. You don't, no matter what other people might have said about you, you're very present and you're very alive. And your visibility might be something that you don't always like, but you know, you walk into a room, people notice you, they feel your energy, and you know, that visibility can sometimes feel a bit intimidating to you. And I think for many of you, you also try to perhaps make yourself a bit less. You can't really make yourself less visible, even if you really try. You will always be noticed, and you need to come to terms with that too, because that's just who you are. I am quiet, so make sure you find moments to have that, the quietness. And it could be that the more you interact with others, the more you share, the more you give, the more you are sometimes feeling on exhibition a bit and very noticed. The more you will also find that as an antidote, you will want to be quiet. You will want to be spending time, you know, in quietude. It's a lovely word. And that's fine too. And you should make the most of those moments. But don't overthink when you're in, and this is why meditation could be good for you, because don't be in the quiet, you know, don't find yourself in positions of solitude and then overthinking. Quiet the mind, because you are healing from everything you've been through. And you don't make a song and dance about it. Like, you don't walk around bandaged up and showing people all your wounds and having a pity party. So that's not your style. And so often people don't recognise that that's what you're doing. It doesn't matter. You just do you. You need to heal. You're healing. You know, that could mean a lot of withdrawal from social situations, from people, because you need to do that for you. And it's so important. And you also need to do it for other people. And also this could be something you need to share, and you need to be able to help people do. People who don't know how. You know, this could be something that you're going to be learning about how to do it so well, and you'll be kind of a pro at doing it, that you can be also enabling then other people to sort of follow your lead and give them you know, be the example. And your independence, you see, you're naturally independent. In fact, you know, there's a myth that Sagittarians are too independent. There's no such thing as too independent. You're independent, and your independence is the thing that's going to get you. This is a long video now, but stay with me. Your independence is also key to your success, so bear that one in mind too. And gratitude, focus on gratitude. Gratitude is something that, you know, I feel is not practiced enough day to day. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful for the silence. Be grateful for the difficult moments. Be grateful for the highs, the lows, the happies, the sads. You know, practice that gratitude daily. It might be good if you don't have already, but it might be a good idea for you to create an altar in your home where you can you know, place things, get into nature enough, which will make you feel so grateful for having, you know, being surrounded by, you know, the beauty of the world, the fact that you're mobile, the fact that you can indulge in these things that are available to all of us, but because the speed of life sometimes takes over, and we find ourselves forgetting to be grateful for all the things we have, and these things are are many. We have many things that we often take for granted, and it's good to practice gratitude. One more card for you, and we're going to close this reading. It's incredibly... Oh, Lakshmi, I have Gemini had this. Okay. Yeah, bright future. Stop worrying, everything's going to be fine. So if you're finding yourself prone to worry, being a bit of a worrywart, don't hurry either, because easy does it with Una here. Everything's occurring in perfect timing. Bear that in mind too, Sagittarius. There's no need to rush, there never is. Life is a journey, it's not a destination. So, also bear that in mind. And keep on going. Take the rough with the smooth, as you always do. Bank that knowledge, that wisdom, and transmute that, as you can help a lot of people. Maybe more than you know. So take care, send you lots of love, and have a good week. Okay. Bye for now.